planned. Just wanted to be able to reach you, anyone who wants to chat about anything. So if you've got something on your mind or you want to talk about something, I'm here for you tonight. I'll just bring up the news, bring up some topics, see what hits home, what doesn't, and we'll go from there. Let me just make sure the audio is good. See what hits home. There you go. And we'll go from there. Yeah, the audio is pretty good. All right. There we go. All right. Just adjust. So, had a good day overall. Just back to work in the new year. Just looking through the daily news. If anyone has any thoughts or comments, questions, ideas, I am down to chat. I'm here for a little while and we'll see how it goes. All right, I'm just going to go through whatever kind of pumps through the news feed and just kind of just talk about it, anything. And if anyone has any questions or thoughts or comments, please let me know and I will get to it as soon as possible. All right, let's do it. Hey, Babu, what's going on, brother? Let's see, does that fit here? No. Sweden won the gold. Sweden won the gold. Oh yeah, for the World Cup Juniors, eh? There you go. Yeah, it's amazing that for the the juniors, that there wasn't a North American team for once, which is pretty crazy. It goes to show you that sports have shelf lives, and over time things will go away. Things will change in time. Just gonna jump on the news feeds here. How you doing tonight, Babu? Daniel Cesar, Google TV, first bid on the couch. Yeah, the Jays did some big moves today, or in the last little bit. They picked up another Japanese player. I don't know his name offhand, but how was my day? It's pretty good overall. Just getting back into work. Well, I mean, I was working the whole time during the Christmas holiday and then the New Year holiday, but overall, yeah, just feeling really good about this year. Just a lot on the horizon. The videos, I'm able to pump out a video per day, which is wonderful. And I'm learning a lot of nuances. My residency is going well. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to a lot of stuff. Hopefully there's like good media that comes out this year. People have been telling me Stranger Things ain't hitting so well. We stopped in end of season 3. Just didn't really feel it anymore. And they said that season 4, even though it costs like $450 million, it hasn't been doing as well as fans would want. So yeah, I'm just hoping for some good media. We're watching the TV show The Rookie, which is pretty fun. And yeah, I really love the story. It's basically if you take Scrubs and you took maybe like a CSI, no, not CSI. Yeah, I guess kind of a CSI Miami with some action. Like I usually do the dishes at night when my wife is watching TV after we put the kids to sleep. And usually I don't really watch. I'll like kind of, because I come from a film background, I don't really put it, I kind of just have the characters in mind. I like will take a look at the new character and just be able to build in my head what's going on. Like we were watching the Mission Impossible series and I was like, all right, it's cool, fun to reminisce and watch, but I'm actually watching every episode of The Rookie. I'm having to do the dishes later at night. Usually I do the dishes and I have my headset on and playing it almost like a podcast. But I'm really, really liking The Rookie. So it's been a good show to watch thus far. And I was interested in Supergirl. Supergirl looks pretty good. I like the idea of making her character almost like James Gunn's, James Gunn is doing Superman, so in this universe doing kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy through her, like living vicariously. You just see the color temperatures, the backgrounds, the kind of edgy attitude that Guardians of the Galaxy has, being like the B or C characters in the DC world, the B or C characters in Marvel. It's interesting to see how they're going to play out Supergirl, who's like a B or C character in DC, and I really feel like Gunn is he's like at least he's my generation. I love that generation of, as I'm wearing. This is the generation of art, the types, the Alex Ross stories, the whole Tim Bruce universe really captivates me as a creative, and I really had wished that Christopher Nolan and Zack Snyder had taken on the 90s 2000s feel, especially with the animated series, where it was crazy that Marvel took over what DC was doing with that humor, with the brightness, with the camaraderie, because Marvel was kind of fading at the time in the 90s 2000s. So for Gunn to jump ship, he's around my age. I'm really excited about that. How do you feel about the MI movie? What's your favorite? Mission Impossible, I would say one is a classic, two is pretty garbage. I really hate two. Three's pretty good. Four, I think four is in Dubai. I might be messing that up. Five is pretty good. Six, I think, is with Henry Cavill. So that one wasn't too bad. I'd probably say 1 and 4 were probably my favorites from MI. But yeah, definitely I'm hoping for some good media this year, because there's not a lot of good storytelling out in the world right now, at least from the stuff I'm watching. I'm really down with story driven, and it's just become trivial for the most part. I'm very much, I guess I'm talking like an old head now. Mind you, I've watched films in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. That was the era that my parents helped me to learn about and grow in. And so, yeah, I think I have a fairly good grasp of cinematic history. And, I studied film and wrote a bunch of features myself before I shifted gears and started doing more work with kids, and then starting the, more of the work within Christianity, and moving in this direction of helping people. But yeah, now I'm just definitely looking for some more, good creative gigs. So we'll see as time goes on. I haven't seen Mission Impossible 7 or 8, so I'm looking forward to that. And again, like I was saying earlier, The Rookie has moved into season, I think, 8 now. So we're on season 4, and we're plowing through it. As soon as the kids are off to bed, we're on it. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, if anyone has any comments or questions tonight, usually I'm streaming a lot more. Did I ever audition for any roles? Smaller, tiny roles, like for short films and stuff like that. When I was in film, I was more moving towards writing and directing in my late teens, early 20s when I went to film school, because I was very overweight and I just didn't have the self-confidence. And so did a little bit of acting here and there, just sketches. And I love improv. Improv is super fun. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see if maybe one day the Lord brings me back to some kind of acting on some level. I obviously love to run my mouth, but yeah, I would love to play actually a role that's way outside of my realm. Probably a bad guy role or some kind of dictator role or something like that, where I could allow myself to kind of cut loose and get lost in the character. But yeah, would definitely love to do something like that. But yeah, if anyone has any comments or questions or thoughts tonight, usually we talk about men's discipleship, and we're talking about doing right by your family, life in general. But I also want to cut back, let people get to know me a bit more during the Blue Jays run. That's when I started streaming. We talked a lot of different sports and stuff. So trying to intermingle that as well, because I have a bunch of guests lined up to start doing interviews with. And so I'm trying to stream as much as possible, get people on the map, and get men, and as well as women, but mainly men, the help that they need for life. That would be my goal over the next 30 to 40 years, to venture into every area of life, whether it's, basically starting off with addiction and then moving into how to build better relationships, to get into a relationship, then moving into marriage, then how to stay sane, the tools and best tips and tricks while being married, and just how to be a good spouse, and then to move into how to have kids, how to parent, how to father. Like I'll be moving into having our third kid soon enough, so I'm very blessed about that. And then, yeah, just keep on, growing in manhood. Like I've worked over the past 27 years, I've worked uh, 16 companies, 34 different positions. So yeah, I've experienced a lot of life. I've probably haven't slept enough, but hopefully they say jack of all trades, master of none, but pretty good writer and director. So, yeah, who knows? Maybe that'll come back in my way. Like I finished a book. I'll be releasing that about addiction next year, hopefully next year is this year, 2026, probably in the fall. I'm just going through each of the 30 steps again, making sure that it's theologically sound as well as spiritually, emotionally, mentally sound, and the belief systems that I had 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago when I was breaking all those different addictions are real. And yeah, they're working. So yeah, definitely looking forward to doing a bunch of different stuff as time goes on. Uh, where will you sell the book? So, I'll put it on Amazon, of course, as a regular hard copy, as a PDF copy. Sorry, e-reader copy, I should say. I'll have PDF copies for those who can't afford it. I want to make sure that I'm as accessible as possible. And if people want to support, that's great. But if not, I totally get it. I want as many people to get in their hands as possible. And then I'm hoping to potentially, with AI or doing it myself, make it into an audiobook, as it is a lot of my stories and anecdotes in breaking addiction and helping to get you to the right professional, because that is my main goal, is for men to get to the right professionals. So yeah, we'll see about that. But I also have I've written 7 children's books, and there's a whole line of kids books I'd like to continue to write. I've finished 4 feature films. They probably will never see the light of day, and I have about 17 or 18 um, different types of mediums and outlets that I'd love to produce in the future. But we'll see. Wherever God leads, I'm down with. But yeah, definitely wanted to tip more into the creative tonight, as again, I'd love to have more and more guests on as time goes on, talk about how Christianity affects each area of our life. In the next following weeks, again, I'm going to have Aaron on, my friend who's a professor at Maryland University, a Christian who knows thermodynamics and physics like the back of his hand, and my buddy Sean Damdar, who is a phenomenal creative director as well as owner of his own company. He's worked with hundreds and hundreds of clients, and just a phenomenal creative person. And then I'll be talking to one of my friends who's a pastor. A couple of my friends are pastors, and then hopefully start branching off and asking different people to interview and just continue to put out content to help men as they grow. So yeah, I was just gonna take a look at the news here. Usually I'm a lot more on point. Tonight I'm just gonna be free flowing and just look into the news and chat about just about anything and everything. Invite some people who want to talk about gambling. No, I think you almost do it just to get me, Babu. You're killing me. Hey, Boko, how are you? I'm just chilling tonight. How are you? How you doing? We are chatting about anything and everything. If you got a question, I can either try to answer it, research it, look into it, whatever the case may be. I am down. So, world news. Trying to do some more relaxed stuff. I'm usually on par doing stuff all the time that is very, very, I guess you could say rigid. I talk a lot about addiction, a lot of problems in the world and with men stuff. I also want to make stuff a little bit lighthearted, like people get to know me as well, as I've lived a very fruitful and interesting life. I have a faith log with hundreds of stories that I'll be sharing in the future of how God has brought me through some amazing things and just life in general. I've witnessed, people getting shot. I've seen some crazy situations with people being drugged high, and just some crazy escapes that have happened, some ridiculously funny stories, some impossible situations. Very, very thankful. Is a tomato a fruit or a vegetable? The tomato is a fruit. They can categorize it as a vegetable, but anything with seeds on the inside is absolutely a fruit. There is some debate. I'm sure that there's someone who could, say, oh, but there's some kind of blah, blah, blah chemical reaction. But usually anything that has a seed inside of it is considered a fruit, and anything that is attached to a like a top pod is a vegetable. So if you're thinking about carrots, if you're thinking about the cabbage family, the Brussels, if you're thinking about like broccoli, things of that nature, those are vegetables. But zucchinis, cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers, those types of things, they're all fruits. Yeah, so tomatoes have seeds. You got that right. Appreciate the question. Thank you, Boko. All questions are recommended. I'll talk. Then how is a banana fruit? Oh, interesting. Well, the seed is at the bottom and it's on the inside still, and there's seeds all along the inside of the banana. So if you look at a banana with seeds on inside. All right, so I'm going to get an image here. So there is the bottom seedling, but I'm going to flip this around. So right there, if you can see that, boom, you got the seedlings on the inside. I know there's the bottom seed as well, but yeah, the seeds be on the inside. I hope that makes sense. Everything has seeds. You have seeds. We all have seeds, all seeding together. Bum, 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 bum. I'm looking into the news. I'm trying to look for stuff. I have to get to a place where I can stream and have multiple screens and kind of be with you, but I just haven't had the chance to set that up via, what is it called? OMD, is it? No, I can't remember the program name. Oh boy, NVIDIA unveils the reason for AI technology in self-driving cars. That's scary. Well, not really scary. I think just like the horse and buggy, people have, they don't understand kind of the evolution that happens. Do humans have eggs inside of them? Well, women do, yes. Women have eggs on the inside. Men have essentially the fertilizer. And yeah, you should do kick and switch. Yeah, maybe. It might be one of those things where I think there are programs that basically once I have the computer set up, I can stream to Facebook, to Twitch, to Kick, to whatever it might be, to Rumble, and go from there. I just have to make sure that I have to be heavy on driving on YouTube so I can learn the process properly. And I've been on YouTube for 17 years. I haven't had a great following. I've had, a couple videos that have done 10, 20, 30, 50,000 views. Nothing spectacular. But the main thing is that what I'm doing is a bit more boring. It's dealing with hardships. It's overcoming addiction. It's how to grow as a man, how to research the scriptures. It's for a niche group of people, and I want to make sure that I'm using the best mode of transportation. If you were to look at a vehicle, so Facebook is a wonderful vehicle for older folk, like I'm plus 40, and it is a wonderful vehicle, but it is a vehicle filled with a lot of distractions, a lot of ads. Instagram, you can't hold, it's more or less the news of the day. You're not going to get a lot of long-term retention. The reason why YouTube works so well is that when you do have a video up, it can have many life cycles. And since it's the number 2 search engine in the world, you never know when things will hit. Does your family know you have YouTube? My extended family, I don't really even talk to them right now. There's a lot of turmoil and hurt. But immediate family, yeah, they definitely know. I've been doing this stuff for so long that they do know. And, always praying for the best for them. I don't really have, I have a lot of family, but I don't talk to many of them because of hurts and pains and problems, and just due to respect. And I don't want to, not even say have issues with them, because I don't really have any issues with anyone that I know of. It's just more so we just have completely different lives, completely different thought processes. Life is very, very different. So yeah. What would you do if your parents got a divorce? Wow, it's tough. My parents never got a divorce. My dad has mental health issues. My mom has her own issues as well. I grew up with a sister. And so there was a lot of talk of separation in our home because of the financial problems that we had and issues growing up. Like I'd line up at the food bank when I was a kid. I've endured a lot. I've been working since I was 13 years old to help my family with finances, and separation was always on our lips because my dad's mental health. I was abused a lot growing up, and it was very difficult, and it took a toll on my mom and my sister, and it still does. So, what I would do if my parents got a divorce, well, in a lot of ways, it probably would have helped. In some ways, it would have hurt because having a male figure in your life is a good thing. A lot of the time, unless that male person is out to get you and try to destroy every element of your life. And at times, that's what my pops was doing. So, in my case, it would have you never know. Hindsight is 2020, but it might have been a good thing for me. Now, for the average person where the parents are not struggling with severe mental health, like I'm talking about severe mental health my dad has, and if you're not dealing with ridiculous hurts and pains, and it's more so like the parents drift apart or there's a cheating situation, then I can kind of break that down. So what would you do if your parents got a divorce? Hello again, Boko. So if your parents were getting divorced, because again, my parents weren't getting divorced, but if your parents were getting divorced, I think the first thing I'd do is reach out to a trusted person in your life, a mentor. Maybe you go to church or a mosque or something like that. Like I'm a Christian, so you're in church or you're a teacher, depending on your age too, right? If you're 5 or 6, 7, 8 years old, it's very, very difficult to be able to share your feelings and try to understand why the two staples of your life are drifting apart or leaving. But as you get older, you start to see, sadly, we live in a world where it happens a lot. So I think the first thing would be, if your parents are getting a divorce, is to find somebody who's a stable person in your life, and hopefully a stable couple. That would be helpful to get both sides of the coin, the perspective, because when a divorce is happening, it's usually two people who are very angry with each other. They're very, very hurt, and usually that person is not going to defend the opposite sex very well. They're going to be angry or frustrated or just feel that they're being betrayed, especially if one person cheats on the other person or not. So I think that would be the first thing that I would do, or if I was counseling someone in that direction, is to find someone that can help you navigate through that. And then from there, again, if you're dealing with a divorce situation, you want to, I think, try to understand why your parents are getting that divorce, depending on the age and the situation, to understand, not say again if there's infidelity involved, what were the precursors to that. But as a child, these are things that sadly, most people will not help that child to go through and like to work through, and or does the child even want to learn about that? And those are the hard things with divorce, because when parents come together to literally make the miracle of life, you hope that they stay together so that that child can develop properly. As they say, there's a higher crime rate, higher drug rate, higher addiction rate, higher problematic rate, lower rate of dropping out, lower rate of, or higher rate of getting a higher education, so on and so forth. So, like, if you are in a single home, and my family probably should have been a single home because of my dad's mental health issues, my mom's psychological problems at times and stuff like that, and just everything that was going on in my world, in my neighborhood, people getting shot, all kinds of crazy stuff. That, yeah, I really feel for the single parents and the parents and the children, of course, of divorce, or your one of your parents passed away. So hopefully that answers that question. What is the meaning of 6-7? So a long time ago when I was growing up, 69 meant something different. 67 was kind of something a little, people make things weird with numbers. And then there was a rapper that came through, and he brought up the 6-7. Some people will go and say it's into the demonic world. Some people say it means absolutely nothing. I think that things happen, trends happen. There's a lot of people who need to make YouTube videos, need to make, what's it called? Need to make content. So you're going to find a lot of different answers. So in all actuality, I am not 100% sure, but my little one goes 6, 7, 7, 11, going to heaven. I don't even know where she learned that. Hoping it. I think it's in Sunday school, so maybe they tried to, re-engineer that or reclaim it for the Lord. But yeah, that's my understanding of what 6, 7 means. So thanks for those questions. I appreciate that, Boko. I am, usually dealing with addictions or dealing with mentorship and life questions, more tougher stuff. But yeah, trying to also talk more about regular media, life, answer questions, conversate, and then we'll be doing more and more interviews and doing more of the podcast moving forward. But just if y'all are going to listen to what I have to say, buy the books that I'll be producing and connecting with people in the future, you probably should know random stuff about me as time goes on. Will you get the new Meta glasses? I've been thinking about the next purchase to change the media content and creation I make, and it is a thought, especially in the world we live in, where recording something could mean life or death, or change your the way an outcome happens in a trial or something like that, as crime is on the rise. I think I would want to get something that's very covert, something that people wouldn't recognize as Meta glasses. I'm not saying that because of my size, but I'm like 6'3", or like 192 centimeters, 205, 210 pounds. I'm a bigger guy. I'm sure people would probably rob someone who's smaller, sadly. But I don't want to put myself in that kind of a vulnerable situation to be wearing a $4, $5, $6, $7, $800 on my face. So I think if there was like something more discreet, like maybe a kind of like not even a clip on, but if something that was almost undetectable, or something you could put in behind like sunglasses, then I would say, yeah, that might be a good idea for me. But, right now I'm just, yeah, I don't want to spend that kind of money on something where my kids could just rip them off my face and break them. So we'll see about the Meta glasses in the future, or something technology wise. I just have to find that new thing I need to buy or want to buy, and just kind of go from there. So yep. All right, let's see what's going on. Oh man. Are we all sisters and brothers? That's a fantastic question, Boko. Well, okay, if you want to take this from the root of the scientific realm, I'll take the scientific realm, and then I'll take a couple different religious realms, and I'll end in the Christianity realm. So in the scientific realm, I would say we're not, because of the thought process, the theory, not the law, but the theory of evolution, or the theory of multiple universes and so on and so forth, where there was, a constant, I don't mean to trivialize, but the nothing from nothing makes something, and so on and so forth. So things evolve, worlds evolve, the universe evolves, and inevitably, we're not sisters and brothers because multiple different types of species had to change over, live, die, or die, and some of them lived, and they continued to evolve, and so many quote unquote life forms evolved at the same time, which had the same conditions which made humanity. So in that sense, in the evolutionary side of things, I don't think we'd be considered brothers and sisters, because I think if that was the case, then probably multiple people groups over multiple places would have kind of arisen, and that's kind of where you have the disparity with people and so on and so forth. Hey Eddie, what's going on? Good to see you tonight. If you were talking from different religion bases, Judeo-Christianity would have a belief system that you had Adam and Eve that God created, and then you had a destruction of pretty much everyone on the planet except Noah and his family. And so from Noah and his family, the biological systems were changing. And it's interesting, depending on who you ask, because science is always changing. And science is just the measurement of the universe, the measurement of our world, the measurement of people around us. And Aaron and a few of my friends who have master's degrees think I have one person with a PhD in biology chem. I can try and pull on the podcast here, but there is a thought process that if you took the DNA structure and as you duplicated it and spread it apart, if you pulled it back and the amount of people that are on the planet, you're looking at, I'm gonna say 6 to 8 thousand, maybe 10,000 years. Not to say that that's how old the Earth is, but years of people on the planet, and it's very hard to calculate that because of people dying and so on and so forth and blah blah blah. But anyway, so yeah, that would be from the Judeo-Christian kind of background with Islam. So from a Christian perspective, are we brothers and sisters? Well, I think there's two realms to that. One is we're created, and because we're created, if you go from Noah and his wife forward, then yeah, essentially in some ways and creation wise, but spiritually wise, thank God that we are, when you are a Christian and you love the Lord and you have your place in the kingdom of God, adopted in, you are a brother and sister in Christ, which is fantastically phenomenal. And coming out of a mixed house, I'm a mixed kid, and having a mixed home now with my wife, and I'm sure probably mixed grandkids someday in the future. It is beautiful to see and go to a church where you have hundreds and hundreds of people that are, all over the world and all over the place that are connected. Wonderful. Thank you, Boko, for subscribing. Appreciate you. Stephen, do you have a family? Yes, I do. I have some kiddo families, and then I have families that are on both sides, but I don't really talk to them just out of lack of communication and content and connecting. Stephen, do you love going out or staying home? When I was younger, I used to love going out all the time, and I still do. But there is some serenity about looking at my house and seeing kitty stuff everywhere, and the nativity scene here, and the kids' buses and all that stuff. There's a big old tent here, and the girls play in the tent here, and there's something wonderful about being at home. I love that. Just being, where I hear the laughter, hear them arguing, having fun. So yeah, having the opportunity to go out and then stay home, like now that I have finances at my disposal, I'll try to be as generous as possible. I do love going out, but it's also the heat, oxymoron, the heat of winter. So, it's snowing a lot. It was like minus 20 a couple days ago. And then we have freezing rain tomorrow. So, you want to go out, and sometimes you don't. Yeah, but I can give you a little Eddie. Here's a torso. There's my TV on the wall. There's a Christmas tree there. There's dining table, some pillows and stuff. Bedtime will happen soon enough. I'm just doing a little quick fun live stream. More chit chat than anything else. Kid stuff all over the place. Forts being built. It's a blessing to be there. So. Are you looking forward to the Avengers Doomsday? They are bringing the X-Men. I am interestingly excited about that just because I want to see what they're going to do with Robert Downey Jr. As Doom. But we'll see, because I am marveled out. I really can't stand the different switches in power grade. After pretty much not the Infinity Wars, but whatever it was with Thanos, I was taxed. I was I'm pretty much done. So yeah, it's just pretty done. What does liking and subscribing do for YouTubers? That's a fantastic question, Boko. So when you subscribe, you are essentially saying to the YouTube algorithm that you really like the content, and the content helps you to grow as a person, or you enjoy watching it, and it depends on how long you watch it. So when you like something or subscribe to, you're basically locking in on a little degree to say, I want to support this person. Now, it used to be, Eddie, just calm down with the stickers a little bit, just a little bit, okay? Just a little. I appreciate it. Once every 5 so minutes, that's cool, but don't do it too much. So when you used to like and subscribe to a video, it meant more because the algorithm was more based off of popularity. Now it's based off of content. Eddie, I don't have to kick you. You're going to spam the chat, please, not too much. Thank you. So when you used to like and subscribe, it meant a lot more. Now it is instead of you're helping the creator, it's more or less you're helping yourself to get that content on your feed consistently. Because when you like and subscribe, chances are you're going to see those videos, and if you spend more time watching, then inevitably the algorithm is going to say, okay, well, you like this Stephen Tocher guy. He talks about discipleship, he talks about God, he talks about answering questions, he talks about addictions and how to grow as a man. And so if that kind of content is the kind of content you like, well, then it'll start funneling more of that content your way. So when you like and subscribe, it helps me a lot, but it also is in partnership. It's helping you to get the content that you want. But really and truly, the biggest driver is, do you end up watching a lot of my content? And if you do, then they'll continually do it. Eddie, oh, Boko, now you're doing it. Oh, no, don't get me. You're going to spam the chat and blow up the chat. You're going to kill YouTube. All right, you two. Hey, holler at you, Eddie. Thank you. As always, you've been here since day one. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. No timeout. Red card, Eddie. Eddie's giving out red cards. There you go. Look at you. I can't believe you're the one calling out red cards now, eh? All right. That's super funny. Eddie, one day maybe you'll be the moderator, and you'll be the guy who you'll be the Batman of our community. You'll be like, I'm looking out for criminals. Yeah, that would be funny. Oh man. What up, Ninja? How you doing? Hamid, Hamida? No, my mom's name's Hamida, so Hamid. I can't even pronounce that. Dyslexia rules my brain. How are you doing? Wonderful to have you on for a brief second or for the next 50 hours. All good either way. Oh, you are too? Wonderful. Okay, my name is Jeffrey. Well, hello, Jeffrey. I'm glad that you are here. I'm glad that you are on the chat. Tonight we're talking about anything from comic books to life. Are you red carding again, Eddie? Come on now. And talking about just life in general, some Christianity stuff. I'm answering questions about life, about manhood. My name is Jeff. Your name is... Okay, well, you know what the funny thing is that I know you all by your handles, but I don't have an opportunity to get to know you. And one day, years from now, what would be really cool is if one of the goals I would like to have is at some point have like meetups or like kind of FaceTimes, or have actual invites where I can send the links out to y'all. And those of you who've been with me a long time, you know, especially you, Eddie and Babu, and yeah, just get some chats on, some questions and back and forth, maybe even make a WhatsApp group. So I appreciate you. Hey, do you want me to crash this short? No, I can block you too, eh? Eddie, don't make me do it. Don't make me do it. Naughty, naughty, naughty little boy. Don't do it, Eddie. Don't do it. Uncle Steve will come. Uncle Steve is going to come. Going to take out the thing and then you will know. So you don't want that to happen, Mr. Eddie. I love you, Eddie. You're cool beans. Yes. I can do it with 30 or 40 different accents. So I don't know if y'all thought that was a good accent or not, but I can do a lot of the I can do like a super smash hit box office movie. It's gonna be so great. I'm getting a little older now, but you know, over time I've been working on different things, and so I'm just moving. All right, Boko, you have yourself a great night. Thank you so much for subscribing and for asking those questions. That is fantastic. Anyway, like we were saying tonight, just doing lots of, hey, there you go. I'm gonna make a sandwich. Well, you make that sandwich. You can do bologna, you're doing chicken, you're doing PBJ. Hopefully, well, you know, if you have to do a lettuce sandwich, I know the drill. When I was in a tougher part in life, a lot of times we lived on sliced cheese and mayo and mustard. That was a go-to when life was financially really tough. So I feel that life was tough for a long time. Right on. Again, thank you so much, Boko, for all the questions and the sub. If anyone wants to sub or like, please do. Helps the algorithm get out there. We can chat more about different things and grow. Appreciate all of you who keep coming. A couple streams a week. Wonderful. If anyone has any comments, questions, thoughts, that's cool as well. What was the most you won in gambling? You asked this before. You love this whole gambling trend. So the most I lost, I think, sorry, the most I won, well, I guess I could say lost. The most I lost was I tumbled down, and again, this is part of why I do this channel with addictions and helping people to get help, was I think I went from about 2,600 up to about 600 in the negatives in 2 weeks. And then I went from, in a week, I went from minus 600 to 1,800, and that was the day I stopped and I was done. So, the kind of toll got me into lots of debt over the years, probably lost like $10,000 over the years. I know people who've lost their homes. My buddy's dad gambled away their first home, and sadly, just due to circumstances, the parents and family pulled them back. They bought something smaller, and gambling is scary and horrible. Like it says, I think, let me just make sure it says in the Bible, but it basically talks about quick money in the Bible. Quick money in the Bible. So in 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 9, and Proverbs 23, 5 and 4, it talks about quick money being problematic. Let me pull out some verses here. So the dangers of greed warns against the rich can lead to spiritual traps and ruin and destruction. The stewardship of, instead of quick riches, believers are encouraged to be good stewards, meaning that they should use God's wisdom in their financial decisions and be super generous. And there's a bunch more over and over. So next question would be, hey, Stephen, what is your dream? Wow, that's a phenomenal question, Eddie. You're hitting it tonight. Good on you. I would say it's changed. So at this exact moment in time, I'd say my dream is to help, I would say, 100,000 men over the next 40 years get over their addictions, become better at the relationships, get mentorship, go to counseling, get married, have kiddos, and really live strong for the Lord. I think that would be pretty good goal. I think if you'd asked me 20 years ago, it'd be to make feature films, and maybe I can make feature films if that stuff happens. If you asked me 5 years ago, I was writing a lot of children's books, and I may go down that road again. It takes a lot of energy out of you, and I'm just trying to learn the AI game as well, still, to see with the animation in particular, because the animation, we want to pay artists, and I wish I could, but to get things launched and get off the ground, if you need those amazing animators. I can draw fairly well, but I cannot draw consistently well. There's a big difference. I have a lot of one-offs that I can do well, but I can't draw consistently. So yeah, that's a fantastic question. So right now I would say, I'll do it in 5-year segments. So 20 years ago would be film. 15 years ago, I think it would have been to move up in the city of Toronto, where I was working at the time, to become like a community recreation planner and be able to help as many kids as possible, which I did for 7 years, but the long term, it didn't work with me. And then 10 years ago, it would have been, the health stuff when I was doing the videos. And then 5 years ago, it was the kids, the storybooks and stuff like that. And now I'd love to help at least 100,000 men in their walk and their life journey over the next 20, 30, 40 years to help them to experience, within trials and tribulations, a healthy life and just do the best that they can financially, emotionally, mentally, relationally, spiritually, physically. And I'd love for guys to get healthy. I used to be over 310 pounds, about 140 kgs. Lost around 50 kgs, about 120 pounds. I've kept the weight off, gained some muscle, and just doing the best I can. Do you love buying clothes? I used to. I had an addiction to buying clothes. I used to have matches with hats and shirts and shorts or whatever, like different match sets, about 40. So that was crazy. I blew a lot of money doing that. And just overall, I've learned over the time that spending money quick is always a bad idea. I try my best. If I like something, 3 or 4 times, or I keep thinking about it for a week or two, I might purchase it. But now when you got kids, you want to purchase stuff for them. So life changes as you get older. But yeah, I do love buying things, but not as much as I used to. And I really found I'd rather be giving that money to people who need it and or my family, helping my family out to learn more, buy my kiddos sticker books, so on and so forth. Did you hear the black guy in Nigeria was built arcs because he saw God in a dream and floods? They're coming December. No, I didn't see that. Let me take a look. Nigerian man builds floods. Sorry, builds floods. Nigerian man builds ark. Yeah, okay, let's take a look at this. Nigerian man builds ark. Let's see what he's doing here. Interesting, okay. So he's in a village here building an ark. Okay, all right. I'm seeing some schematics here. I'm seeing some miniature building ark. It's I think a Guyane man. Yeah, 3 weeks. Okay, Guyane man is building a modern day ark, warns of a flood. Interesting. I will definitely take a bit of a deeper look into that. That's cool. That's very interesting. Saying the floods are coming December 25th and the world will end. You know, I mean, I say it in the sense of cool, as in like, I just want to know where people's minds are, the stories that they come up with. As there's been so many people who've, either had mental health issues or have really felt in their heart that it was like the end of the world was coming and they felt like a voice or heard something. And it helps me to understand their situation better and people's situation better, as, let's face it, there's a lot of people who are either hurting and a lot of people who are experiencing a lot of trauma and would like things to drastically change in their life. All right. Hello again, Eddie. Good to see you. I stole money from SCC. Oh, that's the second part of the story. He stole money from the SC, many people, and bought a Mercedes, and now he's in jail. Well, that also sounds like all of the prophets and people who always do the doomsday stuff. There's either genuinely mental health issues, or they are trying to scam people out of their money, because that is just the thing to do. People are always up in that. At least that's what I was saying. I am 40 years old. I definitely look it right now. I'm pretty tired. But yeah, I very thankful to be 40 and lived the life that I've already lived, and looking forward to many wonderful things in the future. Thank you, gentlemen. Babu and Eddie, Boka for the questions. Hamid earlier. Yeah, just very thankful for the questions and comments. Just love hanging out with y'all. You don't look 40, you look 27. I will take that. Babu, boom, high five. That is legit. I will take, well, no, I don't even, okay, Babu, you're young. What is swag, or what is the word for the word now, drip? Like, drip was there for a little bit, but it's not that. What's that new word? And especially since I think you're in England, right? So what's that word that would be considered cool or whatever? Aura, okay, aura, all right, cool. So I'm passing back some aura at you. Thank you so much for that. That was nice of you. You red carding me again, Eddie, man. That's not cool. That's not cool. Are we just here? We are just here, Eddie. We're here in this universe. And like Professor Aaron said on the last podcast, if I don't know if you had a chance to listen to it, Babu, if the universe as it expanded or changed or whatever it was an inch off at the beginning of time, our world and our entire galaxy would be non-existent, essentially, or existent somewhere else, and the Earth as we know it would not exist. So we are just here. We are just here, and I believe we were created here for a reason, because there's just too many quantum mechanics that are aligned perfectly and working right, even in 100 billion trillion universes, for things to go and work together. The intricacies of our universe are way too deep. And again, if you'd like to take more look at that, my buddy is a professor at Maryland University. He is the second smartest man in mathematics in Canada that I know of or last tested. And his breakdown of physics and thermodynamics. Actually, I'm going to ask him about quantum physics. I have another friend who has a PhD as well, as a Christian. So definitely love that. Was it love at first sight for your wife? Well, we met online, so I guess love at first picture. So I don't know if y'all have heard the story or not, but I'll say it again. I love telling the story. So I had broken up with an ex. It was a pretty rough go. I broke up with her the first time. She broke up with me, but I helped her break up with me. And so I had some money left over on my dating account. And so I had tried, like I had worked in churches before. I was blessed that went on a fair amount of dates over the years and just met a lot of nice young ladies. But this last ex was really tough. I learned a lot about myself. And so I went online, and the way this online dating website worked, and again, I had a lot of opportunities to date within the church setting that I was in because it was a bigger church, but people always saw me as super positive, wonderful Steve, happy Steve, preaching Steve, loving Steve, playing sports Steve. They didn't see the rotten Steve. They didn't see the normal Steve. They didn't see the unbridled Steve. They saw, what they wanted to see in those moments, right? When you're on stage or whatever it might be. So my mentors told me to look at different churches. It never happened. So I tried online. I had some good situations and then a couple really bad ones. So this time around, I went out and I decided to, I think, write 10 paragraphs about who I was, what I was about, what I thought marriage was, what I was looking in a partner, or what I was looking for in a partner, and the kind of children I'd like to raise, and the places I'd live, and the work I would do, and just who I was as a person. And I wanted to make sure that I had totally laid that all out so that there wasn't any confusion moving forward. And if women weren't okay with that, okay, I can't do anything about that. That's just who I am and what I had built and in my mind and fortified over, even years of teaching about relationships. So I had seen multiple other women and I was getting some, connections. However, they just weren't fitting properly. And then I saw my wife's picture and she just looked super cute, super peaceful, super kind. And she didn't write much, actually. She had a lot on there, and I just sent her a smile and a like, and she liked me back right away. And so I sent her a message. Now, the thing is, and this is where the joke comes in, the thing is that if you want to send a like or a smile or a hug or something, you can send that emoji, and this was like 11 years ago now, 10 years ago now. So when you send that over, they can receive it if they haven't paid. But since I had paid, like I could receive messages. And so from what I saw of hers, the message I sent, they were not being read as read, or they were not being shown as read. So I was like, oh, she probably didn't pay for her account. But then within about half an hour to an hour after sending those few messages, she saw the messages. And so the joke of the punchline of the joke is that she had been messaged by a fair number of guys over the months that she was on. And as soon as she read my really long profile, which probably caused her the time to not respond, she then ended up reading through my 10 paragraphs on the dating website and then seeing my pictures and said, that's the kind of man I'd want to be with. And she paid $20 to read my message, and the rest is history. So the joke is that I'm worth $20. So my wife thought I was pretty cool, and so she married me. So yeah, it's crazy. It's been a decade already. All right, so let's go back to some of these questions. And yeah, of course, it did grow over time. Like we saw each other, and then we dated. We were friends for 5-6 months, and then we inevitably started dating. Hey, Stephen, is it true that we are test subjects? I don't think we are test subjects. And then you throw up a bunch of red cards. I believe that we have free will. We're living in this universe, and that God has created us and allowed us to free roam, be free agents, and be able to question our existence and choose who we want to serve. Will we serve ourselves, or will we serve our Creator? Will we understand how much love and capacity that is there? Hey, Stephen, what will you do if you had one wish? Well, I'm going to cheat right away and be like, I wish I had 1,000,000 more wishes. So, bam. But if I had one actual wish, if I had one wish, now, if it's me being super Christian Steve, and I could wish something into existence that had no theological ramifications, I'd wish that everyone would come to know come to know Jesus as their personal savior, because that would amazingly and interestingly change our world pretty fast. If I'm thinking on a serious theological level and I was going to do this one wish, I'm going through all the progressions because that's just how I am and that's how I roll. I progress. So if I'm going through all the progressions, I'm thinking that my one wish would be wow, that's a great question. I mean, like that people's hurts and yeah, people's hurts would go away across the board. But that's not gonna fly. So either it could probably be a million wishes, but if it's a purely selfish wish, it would probably be teleportation. I think that would be where it's at. Teleportation, because you can just do anything with teleportation. I wouldn't want to live forever, but yeah, I think teleportation would be that. I would not want to wish to be a kid again. My childhood was not wonderful, and I'm really liking that. Hey, Steve, type in a number. All right, the number is my favorite number. 35. 35 it is. If you're new to the channel and you want to subscribe or like, usually on Fridays I'm doing a 30-step series on how to break addiction. We're moving into step 15. And if I do interviews usually on Mondays, or I'm going to be doing more of this, just asking questions and going through just people getting to know me a bit more. I've been doing YouTube for over 15 years now. Haven't had wonderful success, but I also know that I am fighting upstream for the quiet side of men's health and just trying to help people to break out of addictions, problems, and move them towards getting into better relationships, marriages, better work, dealing with their finances, and living a humble but yet courageous life. What do you think about countries like South Korea or China? Where do you have to look up, the leader as God? So that would be North Korea. South Korea, still fairly at least Christian per se. North Korea, what do I think about them? It's awful. It's very sad. And it is void of God. And, if in my prayer, I don't know if God will ever send me there as a missionary or to help people out in North Korea. Like North Korea, you're pretty much going into a death sentence if you can even get into the country. China's a little different. China's actually a very interesting story. I'll get to that in a second. But North Korea, God has a special grace and situation, I assume, for the people there that, can't really get the word of God. The people there are extremely manipulated, brainwashed. I would even go as far as to say, but they would say that we're brainwashed, and there's a lot of evil powers at be. And I'm just praying that God will help those people to see God's wonders and miraculousness. I don't know how that'll work, but it does. It says in Romans that even in nature, God's creation and things will cry out. So, yeah, I don't understand how it works, but I'm hoping for that to happen in people's lives for them to come to know the Lord, because that kind of a change would be dramatic. To go from a human dictator telling you everything what to do to freedom internally in Christ would be much, much better. Now, as for China, it's interesting because China was, I think, at the time, I think they were under a dynasty. And then when the communists came into power in, like, I don't know, I'm going to say the 50s, 60s, or 70s, there was about 10 million Christians in China at the time. And so I'm just closing my eyes to process everything. So the churches and missionaries, the missionaries and non-Chinese people had to leave. And there was a great mourning within Christianity because those 10 million people, they thought, without any teaching, without any, again, help from the first world countries at the time, that they would fall apart. But inevitably, when I think the Chinese Republic or Republic of China, the People's Republic of China, the PCCP, I can't remember the exact acronym, but when they opened up the doors again, about 30 years later, what ended up happening was Praise God, there was over 100 million Christians, and it keeps growing. China may be the largest population of Christians by 2050, 2060, 2070. India is also coming up with that. And as we see, if we were looking at the globe, it started, Christianity really started like intensely in the Middle East and then moved into, as Paul prayed, he said, should I go south? I'm going to go east, I'm going to go west, north, but God asked him to go west into Greece, and then it went up into Europe, and then went into different parts of Africa and China, into Japan. Some places it trickled into the east a bit, but it really went to the west, and it went into South America, North America. But now we're seeing this massive shift as it swoops down into Africa and into China and India. And I think that the spirit just moves, and once people kind of get in North America and Europe and so on and so forth, and South America, when people have been living under like Judo-Christianity for a while, they start pushing back and they just want what they want whenever they want it. And that's where we're at right now, where everyone wants freedom, and everyone forgets that there's a reason why people still want to migrate to a lot of places that Judo-Christianity has laid down the foundations and morals of. So, that's kind of that. But what a wonderful story to see how China was able to flourish under pressure. And a lot of times you need a lot of harsh pressure for a change like that to happen. Blah, blah, blah. And hear the song. Sorry, I didn't hear that. I think out of all the countries in Asia, Japan seems the dopest. Yeah, absolutely. Japan is it's actually one of the countries on my heart since I was a kid. I didn't even know where Japan was. I didn't even know anything really about Japan. I just always knew I wanted to go to Japan. I just had like this, I don't know. I've always had this heart I love sushi. It's my favorite food, like ramen. I love just the simple dishes that the Japanese cuisine has to offer. Just the cleanliness of the streets. But they are pretty xenophobic, if I'm using that word correctly. They are starting to accept other people as their population is declining rapidly. And you are, as of right now, I think you're not allowed to get a full-on citizenship. I think you become like a part-time citizen or something like that. But anyway, yeah, Japan with, I love Dragon Ball Z. I love a lot of the animation that comes out of Japan as well, the video games. Huge Street Fighter fan, Sony fan. Really starting to love Honda. So who knows? But I think one of the ways where God helped me to connect with the Japanese people was through working with my mentor and international students, where we saw dozens and dozens of people come to know Christ from Japan, and we try to foster some of the relationships with them there. Would love to visit though, absolutely love to visit. So yeah, anyway, yeah, definitely love Japan. Appreciate the questions. Just looking through different stories here and anything really to chat about. Thought BBC might have something. Let's try Canadian news, if there's anything here just to chat about as we have some time here. There's been a lot of uptakes in crime and just problems. Just trying to look for different angles and thoughts to talk about, but that's all good. I don't even mind capping it. I really enjoyed just chatting with y'all tonight and meeting some new people, having a couple more likes and subscribes. Appreciate that greatly. And looking forward to streaming with y'all a lot more, posting more videos on the consistent, and talking to my boy Sean on next Monday around this time. Well, I guess 10:30. And then doing step 15, which is talking about what is the difference between happiness and joy. Keep talking. Has AI impacted your job at all? Not directly, but it probably will to a degree. I work with more hands-on stuff, and so the people communication is where it's at with any job. If you can get into still people, because AI is a great tool, but it costs a lot. I'm talking about 80%, or sorry, yeah, but that would be 80% more than it's actually being used, which would be 20%. So 400% burn rate right now, which means or 500% burn rate. So for every dollar that AI is making, from what I understand, the energy it takes so far to use the computing power as well as the energy financially to allow for that computing power to work, companies are taking multi-billion dollar hits for to be the I don't know, the I'm trying to think of a company that's dominated to basically be like the Apple of AI, right? Or the Google of search engines. So there's a lot of companies that are trying that. Even the big companies like Meta's been trying to be that for the longest of times. And so with AI, it will impact some people's jobs, especially when the project managing, customer service, like not real deep in impactful customer connections, but simple tasks. And then if you're a one person show, it really can help you to run your own company on your own. If you can do a lot of the things with automation or spreadsheets or just workflows in general, it can help a company. Like some of the companies that I know firsthand that have sadly let go of some people, but they're moving more to predictive analysis. So it's, for instance, if like I don't know, let's say you're a food inspector and you know the people who usually are failing the inspections, and let's say 83% of the main failed inspections are hot dog stands or something along those lines. I'm just giving a random theoretical thought process here. So if that's the case, then the AI will be able to, if you ask it the right questions, if you build the right algorithms, then the AI will say, okay, well, 83% of vendors would be or let's say of the 83% of the bad actors, 42% of those people are from hot dog vendors. So you'll probably want to inspect the hot dog carts more than others. And so that's where AI really hits home right now, or just like dealing with simple automation or creating a website. Like sadly, a lot of programmers and underwriters have lost their job. Or sorry, yeah, programmers and underwriters have lost their jobs. But also if you are AI specialist, if you know how to use programs and ask deeper questions, you'll have a job. So I remember growing up, it used to kind of be the jocks, the hardworking, the physically fit, hardworking workers, the blue collar people that were, doing well, making, good jobs, having great, like contracting companies. The multi-hundred millionaires or billionaires were in the construction world. And then it shifted to, when the internet and the computer world came around, it was really the really the geeky geeks of the world. Like they were building computers that were essentially setting up Bitcoin and doing all this background stuff that no one really understood, perfecting, how to sell different electronics and get to that point in the 80s, early 90s. And then you had the internet wave of the kind of, I would say, nerdy people, the people who knew how to navigate sociability with that deep geekiness behind it. And then you had in the early 2000s to the mid 2000s, before social media, you had very suave internet bloggers and people who knew how to work the system. And then you had the social media boom, and you had the influencer. And so now it's come down to the people who know how to use their mouths, the people who know how to do prompts, the people who know how to use information. It's kind of the smartest of the lay people, the cunning people of the world that are now taking the center stage with AI. So hasn't directly, affected my job per se. It could, but I have to continue to, up my game with communication with the human side as well as how to use those prompts. All right, hopefully that helps to answer that question. IKEA is making new jobs for people who play Roblox. Oh, that's cool. You can work in their IKEA store in the game as a cashier or whatever and make money like a normal job. So it will all be remote. Oh, that's interesting. I guess that takes away from the human interaction in some ways. And of course, they have those stalls, but a lot of the stalls. So, I mean, that's where the remote stuff could work well, because the self-scanning, people, like a lot of companies have, well, not a lot, but some of the companies in Toronto have taken them away because of the theft and or because People are just, the machines are breaking down, the software, you got to re-up hardware all the time. Like if you're coming out with it during COVID and, your hardware and software is going to last, I don't know, 3 to 5 years. Well, we're on year 6 from when COVID first started. So all the self-scanning checkout companies, they've had all this overhead to pay for. They have HR to deal with. They have lawsuits. They have technician issues. And now if all of your hardware and software, that stuff that's meant to fall apart essentially is falling apart, well, you're in that kind of a situation. So it's like smart, I guess, for IKEA and the clientele of families and people who are going to IKEA to do that if that's the case and make remote work for people. Cool, if it works, why not? But there is still a high likelihood that there will be theft and breakdowns in the technology, and if there's so many layers to it. So I think there's going to be a big realm for human workers as well as remote workers and AI type work, all to be done and communicate. And you just kind of do what you can do, right? You got to try your best in this interesting world we live in. There's a lot of hope. There's hope in the Lord, and all you can do is what you can do. It's just life. You can do what you can do. All right, let's see if there's any other topics or thoughts. If anyone has any questions just about anything, I'm down to research it, look into it, tell you I have no idea, or answer to the best of my ability. I'm just scanning through the news here, just very interested. I have not looked into the situation with Venezuela. I just know that there's been a lot of oil and land situations. My mom is from Guyana, so Guyana has a lot of oil and things are shifting, and Venezuela was having issues for a long time as it is. And with Guyana and other places, and now when the oil money came in, they've had some issues. And so America at times has definitely made sure to protect their interests with oil and everything. So yeah, it's a very interesting situation that's brewing. I don't know all the facts, but it is what it is. Yes, I did see that Anthony Joshua almost died. I think he was in Nigeria in that car crash. It's just one of those things, rich or poor, smart, not so smart, overweight, underweight, healthy, unhealthy, whatever it is, you never know when life can change on a dime. So, try to, like I've said to y'all many, many times over the almost, I think, 50 streams I've done and the hundreds of videos, is try your best to live every day as your last. I think if you live that way, your life will be much, much better for it. So, try your best to live every day as your last. The driver didn't have a license and now he's being charged with manslaughter. Yikes. Yeah, that's another thing. You just never know when you go to work or when you're doing something, you're just like, oh, this is not smart or it's not the greatest idea. Probably don't do it because you just never know when things go. They said all the people who fought Jake Paul had a near-death experiences after. They think it's a curse. Yeah, maybe. May also, be, once something's in people's heads, people usually play into that stuff and they keep thinking about it and they put, bad stuff into the universe, man. Obviously, I don't think that, but yeah, I don't know if it's a curse either, but it is very interesting to say the least. There is what they also call the Madden curse, the Madden curse list, and so that's a football curse list. So I'll tell you the story quickly here. So is the Madden curse real? All right, so basically the idea is that if you're on the football Madden cover, the next year you get hurt. And this was pretty crazy. So I'm going to flip this around here and show you this. So here we go, the Madden curse. And so you have all the guys in red here. Once they show up on the actual list here, once they show up on the cover of the Madden game, these guys are in red. That next season, which usually they rarely if ever got hurt, they got hurt the next season. And the guys in green did not get hurt. So that's kind of crazy that happened, because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So out of 25 guys, and the curse, like when I was growing up, was pretty crazy because it was out of 19, 2 of them did not get hurt, and before then it was 12 in a row that got hurt after they appeared on the Madden cover. So that's seems pretty crazy, for that to have happened. So uh, please answer my question. I typed it 3 times. 2 more emojis. Oh, sorry. Eddie, let me get back to you. Where are you, Eddie? And hear the song. I'm so sorry, Eddie. Okay, I typed in a number song. I typed in 35. Will you wish to be a kid again? No. Okay, so please, if I missed it, I'm so sorry, Eddie. Type in the question again. I apologize. If it is the question, do I wish to be a kid again? I answered very briefly. The answer is no. If it was like a really young kid, like 5, 6, yes, my childhood was pretty good until my dad's mental health really started to, kick up, and I started realizing how tough my neighborhood was. Like I had some richer families, so we'd go to some nice places sometimes here and there, but there was a lot of turmoil within that richer family. Not richer family, like decent family. Yeah, after the age of 6, my childhood was not great. Life is just in my late 30s, moving now to 40, is now starting to really get a lot better. But it was it was pretty tough growing up. So Eddie, sorry, what was your question? If that was it, I answered it. I'm so sorry that I didn't get to it. He asked if you like cheeseburger pizza. Really? I don't see that question anywhere. I must have accidentally, I don't know. That's crazy. I did not. Okay, honestly, if you look at my screen, like I don't have it here. I'm just gonna show you. Boom. So I don't know if I see that. So the peace burger, chamber, I don't see it. I'm just gonna show you. I don't know. Eddie, choose wisely. Yeah, I don't know if I see it here. If y'all can see it. Anyway, I just couldn't see it for a bit. I don't know. My bad, Eddie, my bad. So I can answer that, no problem. I'll answer your questions. I got you. Okay. So, do I like cheeseburger pizza more? Dang, that's a good question. So, because I have a gluten allergy, I have an allergy to most likely the pesticides they use in gluten, because if I eat certain types of gluten, I'm fine. Then I would go with the pizza because I love pizza so much. But hamburgers, man, I love burgers too. So it's a good tie. I still go with pizza though. Pizza, because you can change so many topics. I can throw a bunch of steaks. I can make a cheeseburger pizza. I don't know if y'all have ever had that. Type in yes or no if you had cheeseburger pizza. Love cheeseburger pizza if y'all haven't had it before. Eddie, Steven, what will you do if someone goes to you and pulls out 2 pills? The red one gives you $1 billion and the blue one gives you $10 per second. No, I didn't. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, Eddie, thank you for asking that question. You have some really deep questions. Okay. So, shall we do the math? I think we should do the math. Is it better to get $1 billion straight or $10 per minute? Eddie, I'm sorry, I honestly didn't get it. It didn't come through. So day 2, 365, so 5 million. So, okay, so it would take me over 100 years to get $500 million if I got the $10 a day. Sorry again about that, Eddie. So yes, the correct answer, which I thought originally of, would be to take the $1 billion, because if I took the $10 per second, again, it would take me 100 years to get to $500 million. And the other thing is, if you have $1 billion and you put it in something very safe, like 8% a year, 8% a year would get you to 2 billion in, I think, 11 years. Let me see. 1 billion at 8% interest. I would literally just leave it and have interest there. Compounding, in 10 years, you'd have 1.8 billion. In 11 years, you would have Yeah, 2.5. In 20 years, you'd have 4.5 billion. And you can see how rich people get rich because there is something called the rule of seven, essentially, which is how long it takes, you multiply, sorry, the rule doubling. You're trying to double your money. The rule of seven, I think it's like 11% or whatever it is to double your money. And so, yeah, if I had $1 billion and you just left it at 8%, like a low mutual fund, you'd be at $1.8 billion in 10 years. And that would be the best for charity's sake, to help as many people as possible. I would put it probably in multiple different, you know, $50 million places, investments, and just let it grow on its own. Have a couple people to work on the different hedge funds and just keep an eye on it, and then give money, do philanthropy, stream a lot, visit y'all, do stuff like that. So yes, Eddie, I would definitely take the $1 billion straight up and start investing right away. Right away. Yeah, yeah. So, if it was maybe, I guess, $100 every minute, that would work. That would be the equivalent. Actually, no, not even. Probably have to get $1,000 a minute over $1 billion. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, what is one planet you would want to go to first when space travel becomes available? Okay, so space travel plus, can you even go close to the planet without dying? Because obviously if you move closer to the sun, you get hotter. And if you get further from the sun, you get colder. And then you hit something called -3 something. It's basically like minus heat at -300 or something, whatever it is. But so you'd have to have the right protective gear. So I think I've always been interested in Jupiter's, let me see how long the storm has been. That pepperoni they call it on Jupiter, it's called Jupiter's storm. And Jupiter's storm compared to Earth, I think, if I have it right, is, so it's centuries old, the storm, and it's going at around 400 miles per hour, which is probably around 700 kilometers per hour. And you could get, the Earth's diameter is 7,900 miles. Historically, you can fit the entire Earth, maybe 2 Earths, in Jupiter's storm. So that would be pretty crazy. You will buy crystal meth. Easy. Do you like Pokemon, Eddie? A bit. Yeah, Pokemon's good times. What would you do if you have 10 billion? Will you buy crystals? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't buy a lot of stuff. I would try to actually. I would like to hope I would give a lot of it away. I would like set up adoption agencies, and or just adopt a lot of kids. But the main thing is to invest it properly and to start doing more creative projects. I probably would create some of those feature films and books and stuff, and get more revenue on the go. But be creative. And if I was ever allotted a large sum of money like that, I think it would really be to help as many people as possible. But right away set up multiple trustees and people to keep me in line, to make sure that my family was safe, to get the right protection as well. Because that's the other thing you have to think about. If you were to come into a lot of money all of a sudden, there'd be some pretty scary people that would want some of that too. So, will you ever buy a house, or is the market hard there? The market is so hard in Toronto. It's so hard. It is falling a fair bit. I don't think I could ever buy a house. I'd have to move way out of the city. So if I do pastoring or something like that, then there's a chance. Or if YouTube takes off, sure, I'd move out of the city. But yeah, maybe a condo. I don't know. We'll see. But for now, I'm very thankful. Like, I have a phone, I have a computer, I have a lot of things going for me. I have a lovely family. There's a lot to be very, very thankful for. So I got a lot, and I want to just try my best to be a good steward with what I have, whatever God has given me. And yeah, to try to connect with lovely people like yourselves. I Appreciate all the questions. Y'all are extremely creative. I would not have come up with half of these questions. Do you love to be a rich man? There is a verse in the Bible that essentially goes, Lord, give me just enough so that I do not forget you, and just give me just enough that I do not have to beg or steal for bread, and do not give me too much that I'll forget you. Do I wish to be a rich man? I do not. I wish to be doing the things I'd like to do, helping my family and helping others financially. If richness came my way, I pray I'd do the best thing with it, and I would do great works and help a lot of people and bless a lot of people. So yeah, would not love to be a rich man. But is it wrong to be a rich man in Christianity? It is absolutely not. But God also knows what we can do and handle and what kind of could wreck us. And most people, money would wreck them, because they say whatever your qualities are, especially your bad qualities are, if you put money on it, it's like pouring gasoline on a fire. It accelerates it like crazy. So if you're a bit of a, kind of a what's it called? Stringent with your finances, and you become really rich, you'll probably really spend a lot of your time counting your money and treating it like a god. If you're stingy, that's the word, stingy. If you're, very much a person who likes to use and abuse situations or addictions, you can only imagine the types of addictions and problems you get into with lots of money. Well, if you have one wish, I wish to be the best chess player. Oh, that's a great wish. So you can beat, well, what's his name? What's the best chess player's name in the, Hans, is it? No, let me see. Best chess player in the world. What's his name again? Magnus, not Hans. Magnus. Magnus Carlsen. Yeah, I've watched a few of his videos over the years. He is just something else. His IQ, I'd actually love to interview him one day. Maybe we'll have him on, who knows? I would love to interview lots and lots of wonderful people. All right, y'all, I'm running out of energy here. Appreciate it. I will definitely do more of these. I really love chatting with y'all like this, in this way and pattern and form. And I'm just looking forward to more of these. My LO is 2,700 now. Oh man. Okay, hold on. Highest LO chess score. 282. Whoa. Well, if that's the case, you are at 282 from Grandmaster Magnus Carlsen. Whoa, you're up there, man. That's crazy. Okay, well, if you have any recordings of your chess matches or against the computer, Eddie, I'd love to see them. You could start up a YouTube channel and do that alone. Chess is a huge. Yeah, definitely. I don't doubt that you're lying, Eddie. Not at all. I think it'd be great to just see it. Yeah, 100%. 100%. And then that's the thing that your brain, your heart, your thoughts fixate on, and you love it, and you love chess. You do it, brother. You do it. How I can see you. You and Babu can work that out. I don't know if you guys can do FaceTime or whatever. Y'all know each other fairly well. I'll let you guys figure that out. Don't exchange your personal information on here, though. If you win, I'll buy you crystals. That's funny. Try to message each other on each other's YouTube channels. I think that's the best way to do it. Comment on a video or something like that. Don't message on this forum, because it'll end up getting deleted, or yeah, but it'll be deleted in 24 hours. So if you guys want to exchange partial information, sure, but I really would suggest you guys try to message each other or connect with each other on your personal YouTube channels, like from handle to handle. But never really want to ever, guys, I'm telling you, like, as Big Brother Steve here, do not share your personal information on streams and stuff like that. It can wreck your life very quickly, and I don't know if I can get things off fast enough. So yeah, if y'all ever do connect with each other, make sure it's in a safe environment, not on something like this. You ever feel like you or parents were jealous of your youth? Oh, definitely. Absolutely. I think, yeah, definitely. It's a shame when parents are not in general, they're not well adjusted. They haven't learned, and I've been privileged to learn. So I'm not going to look down on my parents. I'm going to try to honor them the best I can. But there were times when I definitely felt that, and gotta love them for what they've tried and they tried to do for me, and be respectfully honest when they're doing the things that they shouldn't do. So, hey Stephen, is it true Muhammad see angels' lips on the trumpet? Well, so I understand Islam fairly well. Not, I haven't read the Quran in Arabic or anything like that. But how did the haircut change over? How did your haircut change over the years? I'll get to that in a second. In short, because Jesus said there will be no one after me, there will be no one who has any revelations. I am the Messiah, I'm the King. What I believe is that Muhammad was interacting with someone that wasn't an angel, could have been Satan for all I know, and people in the Islamic world will essentially say that Christians have deceived people and Jesus was just a prophet and said what he said, and so they basically say that Jesus is a nice guy and a prophet, and I would say Jesus is my God, my King, my Lord. And so there's a big difference there. It's not just something very small. So that's why, sadly, Christians and Muslims have been fighting for a long time. It's hard. It sucks that people do that and they fight over religion this way, but people do. So I'm not going to fight someone about who Jesus says he is. If you believe he says otherwise, that's your prerogative, right? And so, yeah, for us, Jesus is our King. He's our Lord. He's our Savior. And the Islamic world says that he's a prophet who, loves Muhammad and says that God is the one true God, and that Christians messed it up along the way. And there's provisions yes, I agree, and he's our Lord. And I think I understand that Islam also preaches that Christians are just deceived. So, we will eventually be able to make it into heaven if we do enough right things or get through certain layers or levels in hell or whatever. And so I remember one of my friends one day was talking to me and we were arguing, which I don't argue anymore, about religion. And he said something along the lines of that, like, you Christians are just deceived. So I said, wait a second. So basically, and he also said many Christians will act better than many Muslims. I said, wait a second. So if I believe in Christianity and I'm deceived, wouldn't it be best for me to be a Christian and live a Christian life? Because if I'm right, well, I'm a Christian and I'm not wrong and I'm not going to go to hell and have a good relationship with God on this earth. And if I'm wrong, that means that since I'm living a very upstanding, wonderful life, I'll make it to heaven anyways, because there's a provision for the Christian people group. So it was, we haven't really argued since, but I don't, or conversated about that stuff since. But at the end of the day, it's a lot of semantics. It comes down to a personal relationship with Christ, who we believe is our King. And, other people will hear a lot of different things. And, the Islamic person will believe that, the Christians are liars and they'd be listening to Satan. And, the Jewish people think that Jesus is not the real Messiah and we've been listening to Satan. And the Muslim community, the Christian community thinks that the Islamic people have been listening to Satan, because you're either 100% right or 100% wrong. God is not going to, make mistakes and do things wrong, unless you believe in atheism and you believe that God doesn't exist whatsoever and we're all just believing in a bunch of hocus pocus nonsense. So it's a hard line to have, but I'm not here to fight with someone who's Islamic or someone who's Buddhist or atheist or agnostic. It's just, let's conversate, let's live life together. And if you see the things in my life that are different and you want to ask, I'll gladly share the gospel. But if not, that's okay too, and I love you just the same. All right. Babu, last question, and hello. How are you, Eddie? You said hi. I'm saying hi back. Last question. How'd your haircut change over the years? So I had a faux hawk, nice heart and hands. So I had a faux hawk for a while. Used to have close to a shaved head. I had my hair slicked back. My hair's longer now. My wife would love me to shave all this and get a haircut. I will eventually, but it's $50 to get a decent haircut in the city. I got to find somewhere much cheaper. So, one day I'll get back to the faux hawk. So if you can actually look at my older videos, I have videos from 17, 18 years ago before I lost the weight. And then I have videos from 10, 15 years ago, and then videos from a couple years ago, and then videos from a year ago, and videos now. So you can kind of see the the way my hair has changed. Anyway, Eddie, Babu, anyone else who's been watching, love y'all, appreciate y'all. This is the last question. What is your best food for your wife you cook for you? Actually, that's a great question. My wife's best food, she really does a fantastic rice noodle with a spicy beef. It's really good. And like stir fries in general, she's really good at. She makes amazing chili. And she's just actually learned to cook more or less the past 5 years, and she's really good at it. She's a fantastic baker. She loves baking stuff. Maybe one day you'll all be able to try her cooking and her baking. She's just so great at so many things. She used to be a public health nurse. She's ridiculous. She's like one of the smartest people I've ever met. She's very kind, very lovely person, phenomenal wife, mother, Christian, helps me in so many ways. So, yeah, love my wife. She's cool beans. All right. I'm learning to cook. Even I'm 8 years old. Good job, Eddie. Keep cooking. You keep doing your thing. Well, Eddie, if you're 8 years old, that is amazing that you're watching the channel, and I pray that someone is with you and is walking alongside you in life. Appreciate you, Eddie. Let me see. Let me go to your channel here. But yes, you're 8. I don't think you're 8, but you might be a little older than that. But either way, happy that you've been on. Appreciate y'all. Thank you again for being on the stream. And Eddie, if you are 8, I hope someone is watching with you and protecting you, because the internet can be a bad, bad place. All right. I'm Stephen Tocher. If you liked what you have to see, please like and subscribe. Happy New Year to you, Eddie, as well, and everyone who's watched. If I do this, then up here there'll be a playlist with a bunch of other Let's Talk About It podcasts and just times of chit-chatting. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a wonderful day, evening, morning, or night. God bless you all, and God bless you, Eddie.